and we're asking, should the age children start school be raised? 0207 862 2222 is the number to give us a ring with your view. Now, according to teachers, more than half of children aren't ready for school when they start reception classes at the age of 4. According to a new survey, teachers say that many can't use the toilet on their own, they can't eat independently or even communicate clearly. So is it time for the UK came in line with many other countries with a higher school age? In Europe, most countries start at 6 years old, but for some, including Poland and Finland, it's as late as 7. OK, let's talk now, though, to Felicity Gillespie, the director of Kindred Squared, the charity behind this research, and ask Felicity, do you think raising the school age would help the issues that teachers are saying they're finding?
Hello. Thanks for having me. I think it's a really interesting idea, and I'm in favour of children getting the best start in life and there being a level playing field for when they begin their school-based education. So anything that's going to be helpful in that, I think, is really worth giving consideration to, particularly in light of the research that you've mentioned today from YouGov that we've published. But I think the idea that just raising the starting age to 6 or 7, because that's what they do in Nordic countries, and in those countries educational outcomes are better than here, I think that's too simplistic. Because the truth is, the starting age of school is just one of the many levers that we can pull to affect the change in early child development. And if you only do that one thing in isolation of all the other complex parts of the system, you won't get the outcome that you're hoping for.
I suppose people at home might be asking, Felicity, that if children aren't toilet trained by the age of 4, what's to say they're even going to be toilet trained by the age of 7?
I mean, I think that's a really good question. I think one of the things that we were most interested in the data was that, as you said, teachers reported seeing about half the children in their reception class have not achieved their developmental age-appropriate milestones by the time they start. Whereas parents, interestingly, were saying 9 out of 10 of them were saying their child was ready. So what we've got is a real gulf in the understanding and the knowledge about what the developmental milestones are that children should be achieving. So as you say, if you don't address that lack of knowledge and understanding, does it matter whether you start school at 4 or 5 or 6 or 7? And I think that's an interesting question. I think the most important thing actually isn't the age. It's about the quality of the teaching and of the adults that are interacting with our children. And if you have expert adults, as they do in the Nordic countries, for instance, in Estonia, where all teachers must have a degree in childhood in education. If you have those expert adults interacting in an age-appropriate way based on real depth of understanding of child development, then I think that's where you start to see real improvements.
Can I, going back to the original thing you said there, can we hazard a guess as to why there's such a gulf between what parents think is appropriate developmental stage for their child to be going to school and what teachers are expecting? Why is there such a big gap between those two?
Well, I think if you ask, the teachers are very clear. 95% of the teachers say that parents need more information. And I think if you look at the sources of information that families are used to getting, there has been a change. The Institute of Health Visitors recently reported that 1 in 4 families are not getting the 2.5-year review that they're normally meant to get, and 1 in 5 are missing out on their health and development reviews. And similarly, we're finding there's a real shortage of high quality, affordable childcare places. We know that 50% of mums of the very youngest children who are not working would like to work if they could access affordable childcare. So there's sort of these points where information does come, but that the parents aren't accessing in the same way. So I think that sort of information about what is good development, and it doesn't, of course, start when you're 3 or when you're 4. It starts from birth, because we know that actually the human brain develops fastest in the very first year of life. That only 25% of the brain is developed at birth, but 80% is developed by 3, and that the development that happens in those critical first 2 years is actually an accurate predictor of educational attainment later on.
Right, that's it. I'm definitely getting the full works of Shakespeare out when I get home. Moses will be sat down and we're